I am going to make raw almond milk at home from scratch, and to do that I am using 2 cups of sprouted almonds, and that does not mean that they actually have like a sprout on them like you would see on sprouted seeds, but they've been soaked overnight. You notice they're really, really large, and they've been drained and rinsed. And the only reason I'm really doing all this to show y'all is there's ways to get around the expensive things like this. I got a 9-cup bag of almonds at Sam's for $10, which is a really good buy. And then instead of spending $10 or $9 on a nut milk bag, I went to Sherwin-Williams and I got a 1-gallon elastic top paint strainer that I've washed out really well, and it works just as well on straining. And then of course you can use the pulp to make cookies, which I will show you later. Okay, as you can see, I took about half of the almonds and put them in my blender. It is not a Vitamix. A lot of people use a Vitamix, but you know what? I can't justify $500 for a blender. So I have an austerizer. I think it's like 30 bucks at Walmart, maybe. I put in, because I'm doing half of the almonds, I'm putting in 2 cups of water, and I'm going to use 2 pitted dates for sweetener. And then I'm going to close it up, and I'm going to blend it, which I will not make you watch. Okay, so I've poured it into this paint strainer bag, and you'll see that it's coming out slowly but surely. And you'll squeeze and get it all out as best as you can. You milk it. It's like a giant almond udder. You just keep squeezing. And then you can use the pulp and dehydrator cookies with a little bit of stevia and a little bit of dried fruit like craisins or raisins or whatever you've dried in your food dehydrator. And then you can just easily wash your paint straining bag out.
And what's the extra?
And this almond milk will stay in your fridge for about 4 to 5 days. Okay, so because I don't have a Vitamix and it doesn't make my almond pulp quite so fine as if you had a Vitamix, I took my almond pulp and I put, I don't know, a good palmful of dried cherries that I dried myself. And then I took a bit of this light agave nectar and I added it in there to get a good texture. And I added a little bit of allspice because I like the scents that it gives. And then I threw it into my food processor and pulsed it until, because you don't want to make peanut butter or almond butter, because you will make almond butter if you do it too much. You want to make it just until you can form a cookie with it. So just until you can grab, squeeze, and form. And then after you do that, I like to make them completely, you know, as is. I don't make them pretty. I think they're more fun and more interesting this way. They look more natural to me. So just squeeze. And it's one less hand that has to get filthy. Squeeze. You want to try and make them about the same size. That one didn't stay together very long. There you go. And there's no certain amount of agave that I used. I just did it until it tasted good to me. So just do it to taste. Remember, there's already some date in there in with your cookies from when you made the milk. So it's going to have some sweetness, so you always taste before you add anything. If it doesn't get wet enough, you can add almond milk to moisten it, or you can add more sweetener. If it's already sweet enough, then you don't obviously want to add the sweetener. You'd rather add the almond milk. But if you want more fruit flavor, if you don't mind more fruit flavor, then that's also another way to moisten it, just to throw some more fruit in there. Another date. This goes fairly quick actually once you get into the groove. And see, just putting them on there, and then I'll throw them into my dehydrator and I'll show you what they look like when they're done. See if I can turn this off without dropping.